What's up, everybody, and welcome back to part 2 of my Marcia Clark Without a Doubt book review. And so far, this book is brilliant. If you have not read it, if you're into true crime, if you're into the O.J. Simpson case, pick this book up. Oh my God, it is so good. But we're going to jump right into part 2. Here we go. Marcia Clark talks about how fast the story became mainstream news, and part of that worried her because almost all of the news reports she was hearing was saying all kinds of things she did not know, like witnesses turning up she had never heard of, etc. States that she tried to call Tom Lang and Philip Van Adder multiple times on June 14th, but they weren't picking up. Marcia Clark talks about the first meeting that she had with Gil Garcetti, talks about learning who Ronald Goldman was, that he was a 24-year-old part-time actor and a waiter at Mezzaluna, as a restaurant. Marcia Clark talks about how Nicole and her children were at dinner at Mezzaluna and Ron Goldman was on duty that night. Marcia Clark states that they believed Nicole Simpson dropped her sunglasses and that Ronald Goldman went to the house to return them. Now remember, this was the information that Marcia Clark was getting on June 14th. We would later learn that there were many other people at this dinner who the sunglasses belonged to, but at this point in time, this is all of the information she was getting. They did not have a weapon found as of June 14th, or ever. Marcia Clark talks about the 1989 incident where O.J. Simpson pled no contest to abusing his wife, Nicole Brown Simpson. If you've ever seen those photos, they are not pretty to look at. Marcia Clark states that finally around noon on June 14th, she heard from Philip Van Adder, states that Phil told her that the brass, the LAPD bigwigs, the LAPD brass, did not want them talking to Marcia Clark. And of course, she was not pleased. Marcia Clark talks about how the relationship between the district attorney's office, her office, and the LAPD was not the best after the Michael Jackson case, because there was a settlement reached in that case and the cops wanted to take it all the way, but the father of the alleged victim in the Michael Jackson case wanted money, so they settled, and the cops blamed the district attorney's office for getting involved and ruining their case. Marcia Clark states that this was the first time she was ever stonewalled out of getting information by the LAPD. Marcia Clark states that sometime in the afternoon of June 14th, they got a call from SID and found out the blood on the walkway at the murder scene matched O.J. Simpson. That was the evidence the cops needed to arrest O.J., but he still wasn't arrested, and he still wasn't arrested when she came to work the next morning, June 15th, and they were still getting stonewalled by the LAPD. Normally they would be getting witness statements and reports within 24 hours of the crime happening, and at this point in time, on June 15th, they have had yet to receive a single piece of paper. Marcia Clark states that if the cops didn't arrest O.J. Simpson, that they had the ability to start an investigation on their own and take it to the grand jury. That way the cops couldn't stonewall them anymore and they could finally get the LAPD officers' testimonies, and if they got the indictment, the police would have no other choice but to arrest O.J. Simpson. Then they finally got a meeting with the LAPD brass and got the reports she had been wanting. She asked the brass what they were waiting for and when O.J. Simpson was going to be arrested. The brass told her that they wanted to do more interviews, so maybe the early part of next week. They were giving him plenty of time to run. It's crazy. Of course, Marcia Clark did not like that, so she brought up the grand jury idea to them. The LAPD did not like that. They said it was her prerogative. they would rather her wait a little bit longer. Marcia Clark talks about finally learning how the bodies of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman were found. Marcia Clark states about learning the cause of death. Sharp force injuries from some kind of knife or blade. States it's very difficult to match a blade wound to a particular knife, where if the difference is if someone is shot, they know what type of gun it came from. They still have no murder weapon on June 15th. Little did she know at this point in time that they would never find the murder weapon. She states the cops had searched the trash cans at LAX and the luggage lockers as well, and they were searching the fields at the airport in Chicago. It is believed, depending which theory you're going with, that O.J. Simpson tossed the knife into the trash can at LAX and that it was just disposed of. They would have had no reason not to throw the garbage out. Marcia Clark states the plane left LAX at 11:45 p.m., but O.J. Simpson's lawyer at the time stated it left at 11 p.m., which turned out to be false. The manager of the restaurant Mezzaluna saw Ron Goldman leave at 9:30 to 9:45. Ron was also talking to Nicole on the phone before he left, so it's safe to say that Nicole was still alive at around 9:45. Obviously, Ronald Goldman was still alive as well. From about 10:15 to 10:30 p.m., a neighbor of Nicole's hears a dog barking uncontrollably. Cato Kalin states that O.J. went to his daughter's dance recital, which started at 5 p.m. Then he returned home. Then states that he and O.J. went to McDonald's at 9:30, and they got back around 10 p.m. and that was the last he saw of O.J. until 10:45. Then Cato Kalin hears a thump on his wall, which he initially thought was an earthquake. He goes outside to investigate it and sees a white limo waiting outside the gate. The limo driver was scheduled to be at O.J.'s house at 10:45 p.m. He arrived early just to be safe, 20 minutes early in fact. After waiting a little while, he rang the buzzer at 10:40 p.m., but he got no answer. He continued to ring the bell for another 10 minutes, but got no answer. At 10:50, he called his boss for instructions on what to do. Then a few minutes later, at 10:53 p.m., he saw a person he believed to be O.J. Simpson walk quickly from the far side of the driveway. And then he rang the buzzer again, and this time O.J. answered, saying, "I'm sorry, I overslept. I'll be right down." Marcia Clark states there was about an hour of O.J. Simpson's time that was not accounted for, giving him plenty of time to commit the murders and drive the 3 miles back from the crime scene to his own house. O.J. had no alibi from her point of view, but the cops would not arrest him. The next day, June 16th, SID confirmed that the blood on the glove had genetic markers from both victims, with a strong possibility that O.J. Simpson's blood was also in the mix. They also found O.J.'s blood on the interior of the door of his white Ford Bronco. Whew. So that's the timeline of events up until now. And man, this book is so good. She lays everything out perfectly. Again, get this book if you're into this case. I'm just going over the important facts. She talks about a lot of other things as well, but that's the timeline of events up until now, June 16th, 1994. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll be back with part 3 real soon. Thanks for watching, everybody. And my next Making a Murderer book review should be up this week if the book comes on time. It's scheduled to be delivered tomorrow, so hopefully it is. You never know with the mail, though. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I truly appreciate all of the support, and I'll see you again soon.